branch of horticulture that is which deals with floriculture, tuberous management and nursery stock production. So first to come to the point, what is floriculture? What is floriculture? Floriculture is also a branch of horticulture. Floriculture is also a branch of horticulture which deals with cultivation or say growing, which deals with growing, marketing, which deals with growing, marketing and arranging of foliage and flowering plant. And arranging of foliage and flowering plant. Okay, I want to repeat it again. Floriculture is a branch of horticulture which deals with growing, marketing and arranging of foliage and flowering plant. Perennials and potted flowering plant. Potted flowering plants. So growing of what? Growing of annuals. What are the annuals? Huh? Yeah, annuals are those which complete their life cycle within 1 year or one growing season. Okay. So in case of floriculture, you see, annuals means the seasonal flower. That class already you have finished. Seasonal flower. That means say there are some winter annuals, then summer annuals and rainy season annuals. So winter annuals are those that is which are generally grown in the winter season. So I think all of you have seen in our plaza and in front of our library that different types of winter annuals are there. It may be your marigold or it may be pansy, phlox, different types of winter annuals are there. So these are the examples. I think you know what are the examples of winter annuals. Then secondly you come to the point that is the summer annual. Okay, summer season annuals. Summer season annuals. So summer season annuals are those which generally grow during the summer season. Okay. Then another one, say your rainy season annuals. Rainy season annuals. So rainy season annuals are those which generally grow during the rainy season. So I want to tell you one thing, that is in Assam, the rain generally starts, say from last part of the April and which continue up to the October. So there is no such demarcation between the summer season and rainy season. Yes or no? But in outside Assam, say in Delhi, UP, Bihar, all these places there is demarcation between the summer season and the rainy season. Okay. So in Assam, we can grow all the summer season flowering plant in the rainy season and all the rainy season flowering plant in the summer season. So for example, of the summer season annuals, it is say marigold, then gomphrena, then balsam, etc. So this also can be grown in the rainy season as well as in the summer season. Okay. So first point, it is clear that floriculture, that is which deals with the growing of different types of annual, biennial, perennial. Then what is biennial? So biennials are those which complete their life cycle within 2 years. So here we will consider the biennial means the seasonal flower biennial. Which are the seasonal flower? They generally continue their growth for the 2 years. So they are, one is your salvia. Salvia, it is a biennial seasonal flower. It's okay? Then you come to the point, perennials. Okay, these are the perennials. So what is perennials? That is, they continued their life cycle year after year. So can you give example one by one, not all? Perennial Gulmohar. It is a tree. Yes. You write down Gulmohar. Then any other? Huh? Any other? Say rose, China rose. These are the shrubs. Okay. Then any other climbers? Which are the climbers? Bougainvillea. Yes. Then roses. Okay. So these are the climbers. These are, that means these are perennial. Then next one here. We have already completed annual, biennial, perennial. Then third one is your potted flowering plant. So you know there is high demand of the potted flowering plant. Day by day it is increasing. Yes or no? Because you see, for the decoration of the industrial purposes, decoration of the office, and decoration in different, say, our home gardens also, potted plants are going to be used. And for that reason, actually, you see, there is increasing the number of nurseries in all the places, not only in Jorhat, but all the places. The demand of this potted plant is increasing day by day. Okay. So potted flowering plant. Again, this potted flowering plant will be your foliage or flowering. So which are the flowering potted plants? Flowering potted plant. Rose is a flowering potted plant. Then your chrysanthemum also we can use as a potted flowering plant. Then foliage plant. All the house plants. House plants means say philodendron or different types of house plants are there. They are foliage potted plant. Okay. Then next one. Now you come to the point, that is cultivation of annual, biennial, perennial, potted flowering plant, and marketing of foliage and flowering. So what do you mean by marketing then? You know, when, say, for example, we are cultivating, say, your fruit plants or say vegetable plants. So when it is fruit plants, we generally consume it. We have it, no? When it is vegetable, also we are consuming. But when it is flowering plant, say, we are generally use this flower garden for the aesthetic beauty, aesthetic science, for the beauty. In the morning when we have seen a very good garden, then it will relax our mind. Yes or no? And along with this, nowadays, there is one that is from the government of India. It is said that, say, from 1 meter square of area, the earning of from 1 meter square of area, that is from the floriculture point of view, is much higher than any other agricultural produce. So when we are cultivating flower, we should think about the marketing. That means how we have to go for the marketing. So for the marketing, so I think all of you know that in Guwahati, there is a big flower market is here. Anybody from Guwahati? Okay. So there is a very big flower market, and in this big flower market, annually there is 12 to 14 crores of rupees that this transaction is going on annually. But you know, 80% of the flowers, these are supplied from the Calcutta and Bangalore, and only 20% flowers it is supplied from the Hajo area of the, say, your this Kamrup district. And there are some few areas, say in the Morigaon, some of the flower crops, that is anthuriums are cultivated. In Jorhat also, some of the patches are there where the flower cultivation is going on. And also in the Titagor area, then also in Dibrugarh area. So in the Upper Assam area, the cultivation of the flower crop is very negligible. But in the Hajo area of the Kamrup district, the cultivation is there. So 20% of the flowers, they are supplied to this Guwahati market. So now next point, that means you should know that what are those commercial flowers which have demand in those Guwahati market or all the market of Assam condition. What are those commercial flowers? So those commercial flowers are commercial flowers are, number one, say commercial flowers for India. Rose, chrysanthemum, carnation, gerbera, then gladiolus, then tuberose, jasmine, and marigold. So these are the commercial crop of India. Now the commercial crop of Assam. Which are the commercial crops of Assam? And when we say the commercial crop of Assam, so first you come to the point, number one is the marigold. Marigold is the commercial flower of Assam, and next to the marigold you come to the point tuberose. Then gerbera, then gladiolus, then your, I have forgotten to write down here for India also, anthurium and orchid. So these two for Assam also, but anthurium and orchid they are cultivating in very small area, but the price of the flower is very high in case of anthurium and orchid. Okay. So now you should know what is the foliage plant and flowering plant. Can you give the examples of the foliage tree? Foliage tree. It is available in our campus. Yes, you write down foliage tree. Because in quiz this type of question may be there. Foliage tree, name of foliage tree, Devdaru. Then Araucaria cookie, that is Christmas tree. Okay. Then foliage shrub, Thuja, Thuja. Then croton, C-R-O-T-O-N, croton. In Assamese we call it Patrabahar. Then next one, say your foliage clamber. Yes, please. Anybody? Foliage clamber. Money plant. Very good. Money plant. And any other? Philodendron. So next one is your foliage flowering stuff. Rose and China rose. No, rose and China rose. Then flowering tree. Then flowering clamber. Bougainvillea, rose. Okay. Next you come to the point. So now our floriculture is over. No. Next is the turf grass management. What do you mean by turf grass management? Anybody? Turf grass management. What do you mean by turf actually? Turf is the lawn. That is management of lawn. That what is lawn? Lawn is the green carpet of a garden. Who is talking? Green carpet of a garden. Lawn is the green carpet of a garden. So I think all of you have seen the lawn which is maintaining in our plaza and all the campus. That is by mowing, by cutting. That is, this is the management of the lawn. And similarly, say in case of turf, what do you mean by turf? Say in say cricket ground or say in your hockey ground, some synthetic turf are used. So this is called the turf. Okay. So management of turf means the management of lawn and the turf. Then next you come to the point, nursery stock production. Nursery stock production say when you are, do you know in any nursery present in Jorhat? Can you name one nursery? Huh? Okay. So there Sundarban nursery is a nursery, another Parijat nurseries are there. So during the winter season, the demand of different nursery material is very high. Okay. Say for example, chrysanthemum cutting, dahlia cutting, then the seeds and the seedling, these are required for the winter garden, maintenance of the winter garden. So for production of the cuttings, the chrysanthemum cuttings or the dahlia cuttings, what we have to do, we have to maintain the mother plant, or the mother plant is known as stock plant. For example, say dahlia and chrysanthemum, they are generally bloom, say in the winter season. Okay. So during the month of say February, March, the blooms generally completed. After completion of the bloom, the whole mother plant we have to maintain throughout the summer. So all of you know, during the summer season, say in Assam mainly, it is high humidity, high rainfall and high temperature. Due to high humidity, high rainfall and high temperature, the disease and pest attack is very high. So for that reason, we have to maintain the mother plant by application of fungicides, by application of insecticides, and also for to get the healthy cutting or the healthy planting material, what we have to do. So occasionally we have to spray say urea or say micronutrient spray it is important. So by this way we have to maintain the stock of the nursery so that in the for the winter season, for the next season, we will get more numbers of cuttings and more numbers of seeds from the seedling. So this is called nursery stock production. Then next one is you come to the point, that is landscaping. Landscaping, it is the beautification of, landscaping is the beautification of total living area for man in relation to surroundings. Landscaping is the beautification of total living area for man in relation to surroundings. So for example, you see, so I live in the campus of AU. Okay. So I have maintained the surrounding area of my house. So when we say total living area, so first I have to maintain the surroundings of my house. After that I have to go for the maintenance of the whole campus. Then we have to go for the maintenance of the Barbeta area, then Jorhat area. By this way, that is when we ultimately the whole world will become under the total living area. But now when we are in a small area, say this is the campus is our total living area. So landscaping means the beautification of total living area surroundings. Okay. So now you come to the point, say next one. What do you mean by flower? What do you mean by flower? So botanically, flower is a modified shoot, means for reproduction. Botanically, flower is a modified shoot, means for reproduction. Flower is a modified shoot, means for reproduction. Then from horticultural point of view, flower is the symbol of flower is the symbol of love, beauty, and tranquility, and it conveys the message, of nature, to men. Now we will discuss some of the terminology related to our floricle. The first one is your garden. What is garden? A garden may be defined as a place of growing plants, exhibiting various forms of plants life, which are directed for ornamental or practical use. The garden may be of two types. Number one, formal garden, and number two, informal garden. Formal garden and informal garden. A formal garden is laid out in symmetrical and a geometrical pattern, where everything is planted in a straight line. For example, Mughal garden. So now, all of you please look at the board. So, what is formal garden? Okay, the formal garden is laid out in a geometrical or symmetrical pattern, and all the things which are planted in a straight line or in the geometrical pattern. And you see, in case of formal garden, there is an imaginary line, and in this imaginary line they are divided into two equal halves, and this is considered as the running water. And always the left hand side of the garden should have the mirror image to the right hand side. Okay, the left hand side of the garden should have the mirror image to the right hand side. So here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it should be same plant. If it is Deodaru, Polyandria longifolia, this side should be same numbers of plants. Okay. Or say it is the seasonal flower bed. If it is phlox, and here also this should be phlox. Okay. And if it is the rosery, that means roses are generally planted here, rose, and this is also rose. Okay. And if it is the red rose, here also should be the red rose. Okay, and here also another type of say seasonal flower, here also another type of seasonal flower. So that means the left hand side of the garden, they have the mirror image of the right hand side. So it is called Mughal garden. Mughal garden, a type of garden. Okay. So next you come to the point, informal garden. What is informal garden? So informal garden is laid out. Informal garden is laid out informally. Informal garden is laid out informally, and there is no symmetry. And there is no symmetry. So informal garden, they are Japanese garden. Japanese garden. And the example is your Buddha Jayanti Park. Buddha Jayanti Park, New Delhi. So, now all of you please look at the board. In case of informal garden, they are laid out informally, okay? And there is no any rigid way. There is no symmetry. There is no mirror image, okay? There is no mirror image, there is no symmetry, and there is no, say, your geometrical and symmetrical pattern, okay? But be also a suitable plan. It is not that there is no symmetry and no geometrical pattern. It is not like that. In the informal garden, we will plant haphazardly in any place, any way. It is not. But there, it should be also planned in such a way that which will also give a aesthetic sense or the aesthetic beauty to our eyes. Okay? So you see, here it is totally rigid. Same number here, same number this side, left hand, right hand. But here you see, in the informal garden, actually informal garden, they give some pulling effect. Pulling effect. Though there is no symmetry, no rigidity. And the example is, I think all of you have seen this Mughal garden, that is Rashtrapati Bhavan garden in television. And I think also you have seen this Buddha Jayanti Park in New Delhi in television. Okay? So these are the difference between informal and the formal garden. Now you come to the point, park. What is park? Park. So, park, where the different types of trees, shrubs, climbers, where different types of trees, shrubs, climbers, trees, shrubs, climbers, and the flowering plants are planted. But they are used by the public. But they are used by the public for the recreational purposes. For the recreational purposes. For the recreational purposes. That means in the park there should be some recreational facilities. For example, seesaw, swing, recreational facilities for the children. Okay? So how we can differentiate between garden and park? That is actually the garden and park same, that is enclosed area where the different type of trees, shrubs, climbers and flowering plants are grown. Only difference is this, in garden there is no recreational facilities, but in the park there are some recreational facilities available for the children. Then next one is the shrubbery. When shrubs are planted according to the height, then it is known as shrubbery. When shrubs are planted according to the height, then it is known as shrubbery. Okay. So for example, say there are different types of shrubs. All of you know now. That is, say one shrub, say Hibiscus rosa sinensis. Another, say when the bougainvillea, they are trimmed, they are pruned, they are also used as shrub. So first what we have to do for preparation of the shrubbery, first one, it should be the tallest one. Tallest shrub should be planted in the back side. Then the medium height, and then the dwarf one should be planted in a border of a garden, then it is known as shrubbery. Then next one is the herbaceous border. Herbaceous border. When annuals are grown in the border of a garden, when different types of annuals are grown in a border of a garden, then it is known as herbaceous border. Then specimen tree. Specimen tree. So I think all of you have seen the lawn. I think you have seen. So when some of the trees are planted in the middle of a lawn, then it is known as specimen tree. When some of the trees, they are planted in the middle of a lawn, then it is known as specimen tree. For example, Araucaria cookie, Thuja, then bottle brass. So, example, Araucaria cookie, that means it is Christmas tree. And say Thuja, say suppose this is a garden and this area is utilized for the lawn, and in this middle of the lawn, when the plants are planted, then it is called specimen tree. Okay, you please imagine one green lawn, totally mauve, green in color, and in the middle of the lawn, we have planted, say, bottle grass. And all of you know, I think you have seen bottle grass where red color flowers are bloom in a drooping way. So you please imagine that there is a contrast between the green color and the red color. So also this type of green and red color flower of the bougainvillea, of the bottle grass, which are in the drooping manner, and also your lawn is in the green carpet, looks like a carpet. So it also gives a relaxation to our mind when we visit this type of, say, your garden. Okay. Then next one is the avenue tree. Avenue tree. So what do you mean by avenue tree? When the trees are planted in the both sides of the road, then it is known as avenue tree. So can you give some example of avenue tree? So in our campus, when we enter to the campus, Indian avenue tree. Okay? And Assamese we call it Nahar. Okay? Then also, say your Polyantria longifolia. Then next one, you come to the point, our next importance, the area. What is the area under flower crop? So in India, the area under flower crop is 191 lakh hectares. In India, area under flower cultivation is 191 lakh hectares. Okay, 121 lakh hectare. Then the area in Assam, it is 2000 hectare. 2000 hectares, and the highest area in the crop marigold. Highest area in the crop marigold. So now you come to the point, that is, what was our topic? That is the production technology of cut flower or flower crop. So when we say cut flower, what do we mean by cut flower? Cut flower, that means when the flowers are detached from the mother plant with long stalks, and then they are utilized for different decoration purposes, say for bouquet making, then also for decoration during say your wedding ceremonies. And nowadays the demand of this cut flower is very high. What is the reason? That means, say earlier people are generally, when we visited for say your birthday parties or the wedding ceremonies, we are generally go with some different material. Nowadays people are come with some bouquets. First thing is. Secondly, say if there is any occasion, it may be your say wedding ceremony, or you have seen that in our auditorium also, when we are actually going celebrating some occasion or any meeting, the dioceses and all these are actually decorated by the flower crop. And for this reason, and people are also interested for flower cultivation or decorating their houses, or there are some lots of festivals are there. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day. During these days, your demand of flower is also very high. So now I want to tell you that in European countries, say especially in the Switzerland and others, the flower is competing with chocolate and also wine. So all of you like chocolate very much, no? So you know, in Switzerland, where the per capita consumption of flower crops is the highest, and in Switzerland, now the flowers, they are competing with the chocolate and the wine. So for that reason, actually the demand of the flower cultivation is increasing day by day. So when the flowers are detached from the mother plant with stalk, this is known as cut flower. And when it is detached without stalk, this is known as loose flower. Loose flowers. So cut flowers are used for decoration purposes and bouquet making, for all different, say your for arranging in the vase, in the table, for the dining table decoration. For all these purposes, these cut flowers are used, and for the bouquet making. And the loose flowers are used for making garland. I think all of you know garland. When there is puja or any festival, the garlands are mainly used for decoration. So garland, gajra, beni, and in West Bengal, the flowers are also used for, say, as ornaments. Some of the ornaments, they are used as ornaments. Okay. Then, you know, there are some economic flowers. There are some economic flowers. What are those economic flowers? Economic flowers: rose, jasmine, tuberose, then orchid, the orchid, Vanilla clamifolia, so here you see why these flowers are called economic flower. Because you know, this rose, jasmine, tuberose and vanilla orchid, they are mainly used for extraction of essential oils. Okay? And the price of this essential oil is also very high. So you know, these roses are mainly used for making rose otto, that means attar, then rose water, then some of the materials are prepared from the rose. This is called gulkan, and gulkan is used as a laxative material. Gulkan. Then also the rose petals are used to sweeten some of the, say, your sweets, which is known as panpuri. And in Bulgaria, the rose petals, they are used for making rose wine. So for that reason, that means roses are also used in cosmetic industry. You know, that is for the, say, your rose oils are used for soap making, incense sticks making, so roses are used. Secondly, we come to the point, jasmine. The jasmine oils are also used as essential oils. Okay, so I think you know that jasmine oils are used for making soap, making powder. In all these cosmetic industries, jasmines are used. Similarly, tuberose oils are also used as essential oil for cosmetic industry. Then you come to the point, this vanilla orchid, vanilla, that means the vanillin, it is one chemical. This vanillin is extracted for preparation of the vanilla. I think all of you know this vanilla, it is the essence which is used in the confectionery industry for making cakes and biscuits. And also ice cream. Ice cream, the name itself given as the vanilla ice cream. Okay. So these are the essential oils generally extracted. And along with this, another one is the marigold. What is the color of marigold? Orange. Okay. You know, this orange color petal or the yellow color petal, they generally contain, what they contain? They generally contain the pigment carotenoid. Okay? Carotenoid pigment. They contain carotenoid pigment, or say, you know, some of the pigments are there. One of the pigment is the chlorophyll, which gives the green color, then xanthophyll, then one part of the xanthophyll is the carotenoid. So you know, say, when we are purchasing the eggs from the farm, that is white leghorn poultry, so our egg yolks are whitish in color. But people, they prefer yellow colored egg yolk. Yes or no? Yes. So nowadays there is one industry where the marigold petal, they are used in the poultry industry for the feeding of the poultry. When this marigold petal, they are mixed with the feed of the poultry, then as a result, after 1 or 2 months, the color of the egg yolk transferred from the white to the yellowish color. And where the people prefer it, and when the people prefer, the demand of this type of egg is also increasing. So nowadays, the marigold, include marigold here, nowadays, that is in the foreign countries, the marigold, they are generally grown in a big way. In a big way for supplying this marigold petal to the poultry, so that we will get the yellow color egg yolk, and also the flesh of the, say, your poultry also is become, instead of white, it becomes slightly yellow, which preferred by the consumer. Okay. So for that reason, actually now these are known as the economic flower. So I want to tell you one information, that is, now we are actually doing this experiment here also in our university. One of the PhD students, he is doing some of the experiment in this, that is, we are cultivating 12 different marigold cultivars, and out of all these 12 cultivars, we have find out that which variety giving the highest carotenoid, that is the beta carotene. It is the precursor of vitamin A, beta carotene, and where the beta carotene is high, that variety we will grow in a big way, and this petal we will feed to our poultry available our say poultry farm. Then we will see that whether our egg yolk has been returning the color from the white to yellow. So these are called economic terms. Now it is clear for all of you.